Hi, hello, and welcome to the Lunar Lounge series brought to you by Vertex of Abundance. My name is Priestess Abossi. I'll be your oracle today. I was sent to deliberate the findings for the full moon in Libra. There was a Libra video under the Daily Tarot Buffet. There wasn't a full moon video, and I was prompted to do it. You know, we've been off the air for a few days with scheduled programming, and the one thing I can tell you about what this energy is communicating is some kind of emotional distress. So there's there's this energy of like a wound or okay, well, I can't tap in yet. I can tap in, I just don't want to be too verbose. I don't want to ramble about. You know, the mislabeling, misjudging, misperceiving, mistaking, mistreating, misusing. There's something about that. I've been saying that for a few weeks. So if you're new here, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. Vertex of Abundance is the Galactic Temple of Ascension, delivering sacred messages from behind the veil. We already actually reached the full moon. We're in this cycle. It usually lasts for a few days. With the eclipse season, it's bigger. And there's a few things going out. So the Libra full moon is significant always because it's karma will be served. The full moons always are like an action happening. The moon itself is usually not like a material event like the sun, like a manifestation, although the full moons tend to be or can be. And then the eclipses kind of kick that likelihood up. And then the eclipses also take things a little bit further out. It can take it, forward or backwards, upwards of a year. I keep hearing woe death, which is, I honestly think it's a new priestess chant. It's from a show on Amazon Prime right now. So I'm honestly getting the feeling where like our ancestors or our ascended masters or our guides, our spirit team, the angels even, they're about to ride. They're about to, pull up. So there's been some kind of energy around us, and it's basically like an entity. It doesn't have to be, but the energy has become an entity, whether or not it's conscious, whether or not it's a being. It's like this aggregate, amalgamous, amorphous conglomeration of compound karma. It has a face, it has a signature, let's put it that way, and it's going to be handled. And part of it has been a buildup so we can handle up, we can learn basically, but also part of it has been allowing the cards to fall where they may. Some people, some energies have just simply been given more rope. We've also been allowed to learn, whether it was on a bell curve, whether we were kind of less than the average in the class, maybe we were ahead and at the top of the list. It doesn't matter. Some things were long, prolonged, even protracted. And now everything's kind of reconciling. It doesn't matter if we're remedial, doesn't matter if we're gifted. We're going to pass the class because we've been in our good nature and our good heart and our authentic self. It doesn't mean we don't stumble, doesn't mean we don't fall into temptations, doesn't mean we don't make mistakes. We're always loving, caring, and kind, even if we can't be completely understanding, be completely loving, be completely forthright and forthgiving with the other, whatever this other is, energy, entity, ideology, enemy, person, place, or thing, environment, surrounding, location. We can't always be forthcoming and forthright, but there's always been this good-hearted nature or this, okay, the lack of all the things that put you on the evil side. And evil is a spectrum. It starts at miserly, embittered, unhealed, unawakened, and it goes all the way towards evil, sinister, and wicked. And the behaviors that take you from unhealed, unawakened, miserly, embittered, all the way to the other side of the spectrum of evil, towards evil, sinister, and wicked, that the behaviors that take you are all in the category of malevolent, malicious, malignant. So we haven't been any of that. It doesn't matter where we've been in our remedial or our advanced coming up, handling up, leveling up. So a lot of us divine children, a lot of us chosen children, we're all being kind of prepared, my dear, for a glow up. And it manifests in different ways. It's the same energy, but it manifests in different ways. So a level up, a handle up, a glow up, a boss up, a G up, a whatever, what have you, a come up. So in the background, we've had to see because I myself, I can tell you, there's been a lot of emotional distress, and I'm seeing it everywhere. It's manifesting in everything, secular circles, spiritual circles, whatever, what have you. It's on and popping, but it's the thing that's popping and locking. It ain't so fun. It's not so pleasant. Unfortunately, hurt feelings. Unfortunately, karma. Unfortunately, unsavory topics to discuss. Unfortunately, unpopular positions, unfavorable circumstances. That's the thing popping and locking. But that just means it's going to wild out, show out, and then it's going to get gone and carry on and move along. And we should support that. So there's some Buddhist principles, and I won't go deeply into Buddhism, but I do want to say for most spiritual practices that are universal and ancient or indigenous in nature, they view Buddhism, or I should say, we view Buddhism as like an introductory practice. It's basically housekeeping. It's basically training wheels. It's about right conduct, getting your mind in order. So you notice or you learn or you manifest experience where you slightly lean into discomfort, where you address your aversions, where we become aware of our sense and our cravings and our reaching and our grasping. Does that make sense? All the things where basically it says, let me put this into words, if we lack self-control, how are we going to handle divine authority? Let me say that again. If we lack self-control, how are we going to handle divine authority? So let's get in here, fit in here, and see what we got going on. You see those popped right out. So we're supposed to be, oh, 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 oh. I'm gonna do it anyways. Okay, I had to let that out. So we're supposed to be in this energy here. Nova Denari, Nine of Pentacles. And I just want to say hi, hello again. Welcome to the Lunar Lounge series brought to you by Vertex. My name is Priestess Abossi. I'll be your oracle today, and I was sent to deliberate the findings for the full moon in Libra. We're in that little period already. It's on the 13th, but the 2.5 days before and the 2.5 days after is always kind of like the full moon energy. Is usually less if the moon is not new or full, okay? And then it's compounded because we have like an eclipse thing going on. Okay. So what I'm detecting is that we should be in this energy, but it's kind of reversed, which means it's inward or it's being projected. So somebody might be trying to be us. They might be trying to shapeshift into our energy, carry around our energy signature. It also can be that our self-worth and value, whatever we are well worth and deservedness might be suppressed in some kind of way, or we might have been left to our own devices and we're misinterpreting it. So people could be, shunning us or how do I say, isolating us, mislabeling, misjudging, misperceiving, but it's kind of like the turning the back, the little clicky, cheekity thing, whatever they do in little clicks and covens, the little mean girl thing from high school. Um, but it's really more because they cannot perceive, excuse me, permiso, me scusi. It might be because they cannot perceive our divinity, our serenity, our grace. It may be that they don't understand that we're highly blessed, we're chosen, anointed. It might be because they cannot perceive our chosen nature. It may be that in reverse, Nine of Pentacles in reverse, Novi Denari. It might be, well, ultimately, it's making it so things need to be maybe left out in the cold, but stripped, changed. Okay. Because I wasn't catching. Ooh, Libreo. A Libra came right out. Excuse me. I don't know why, but girl, let me tell you something. I've had the most pissy energy coming into this reading. I was just like, I was cautious because I was like, okay, let me not take my little attitude problem into the reading. But the moment I got into this energy, I feel so much better. Okay, I had to let that out. Um, This means diavolo, like devil, demons, criminality, in the underworld. Okay, um, it's not always about the devil. But it's bad karma. You know, when you see these two cards, whenever you see the devil and the justice card, or the devil and I keep wanting to call it La Mentira, but it's La Papa. It's the Hierophant. Whenever you see these two cards here or these two cards here, oh Dios mío, it's scurry. It's not scary. It's scurry. Scurry like curry. It's scurry. I be shooketh. Gestripperfelter, okay? Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you right now, right now. Okay, hold on. Let me just fast forward. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Okay, maybe I spoke too soon. Okay, this together means demons or like underworld. So something there that shouldn't be there, first of all, number one. Number two, it's very easy to, excuse my words, but that's tardo. It's very easy for something to be corrupted or to go wrong or to go bad. And then when you see these two energies here, it's confirmed because Eshi, come on, these two cards together mean broken vows, broken oaths, corruption. And then here it means duplicity, falsification, um, exploitation, maladaption. It means that there's something that might be not just abnormal, but an aberration. It means that something has become not just out of balance, but it might be intentionally so, and then it might be living or benefiting in that lack of balance. And it really does bring into the language, the nomenclature, the law of lesser magic, I must tell you. Okay, and then so remember when this came out reverse, that told me everything, 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 everything. Did you hear what I said? Everything, 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 everything. We don't need to keep reading. We will, but um, let me break it down. Let me break it down. So something's going on where our divinity, our serenity, our grace, our highly blessed, favored, chosen, anointed status, our chosen status is being just not seen, not respected, not felt, not heard. And it's probably because we were or are in environments surrounding locations around people, places, and things that really don't need to be with us. Nine of Pentacles sometimes could be left to your own devices. So there are people who really deserve or who are the thing. And then when people get really exposed or seen, it turns out that they're not the thing. Sometimes it turns out that people got into places because they did some kind of rinky dinky, sneaky tweaky. Maybe they have fun and money. Maybe they got a complex occupation, also known as a racket, also known as a illustrious criminal hustle. And something's just not right. And then when you have the Knight of Cups, it means it's going to be some kind of movement or activity of authenticity, genuineness, sincerity. So, in the light of day, or when energy does eventually reveal itself to be what it is, because the truth is incontrovertible, malice may attack it, ignorance may derail it, but like the sun and the moon, it always will reveal itself. In the end, there it is. Okay, but then we do have this kind of like, with the devil, we have this energy of like a little bit of violence. Something here is designed to be hurtful, and not in the like being mean, being cruel to feel powerful. It's the being hurtful to really stick it to you. There's also this being stripped. Okay, so it's like if I can have you, nobody can, or I don't want to see you thrive. I don't want to see you win kind of energy. It's also, you know, speaking over, lording over, presiding over, I have to say, with the Hierophant. So, you know, somebody's exercised liberties they've yet to afford themselves, frankly. They're taking decisions that they think are their own. They feel entitled to a sense of control. Like I said, they're lording over, speaking over, presiding over maybe where they shouldn't, because they're false as a leader, as a preacher. The spiritual authority is profane. If there is any authority at all, it's out of the infernal kingdom, not the eternal kingdom. It's not from the divine. It's from the pit. And they may have lied, cheated, stolen to get there. With the duplicity, falsification here, I must tell you. So there is a reason we were left out in the cold. There is a reason that we felt abandoned in some way, Cinque Denari here. So there's some Strigere Benedetti, some kind of evil, maladaptive, idiosyncratic, some type of orchestration, machination, intentional spiritual interference or energetic projection, because I'm doing the Etruscan, I'm speaking ancient Roman. So this is Five of Pentacles. I call it Cinque Denari because that means there was a witch. That specifically this card means that there was some kind of witchcraft. Spell work is in the 8, witchcraft is in the 5. So it doesn't always mean that they were doing some kind of like hocus pocus, abracadabra, you know, chanting and cabals and clicks and cups and whatever, what have you. It could just mean there were lies. Like I said, duplicity, falsification of documents. There could have been some unscrupulous corruption where they sneaked in and hid something or stole something or obscured something or whatever. And then here it's also spiritual. So it's like in a collective, where there's a clique or coven. It could just be in a social group where everyone's kind of vilifying the chosen one. We're the chosen one, by the way. So that's the beginning of this reading. And also, if we've been in emotional distress, that's probably some of the reasons why, my dear. And then, you know, this reading is going to go long. I wanted to go out and get lunch. I'm a little disappointed. Yeah, I'm just letting go, surrendering to what is and what will be. So, you know, we're in a situation where we are coming into our eternal nature. Things will turn into alignment. Karma is here. But I do want to say, with the devil present and a 5 present, it makes a lot of other things in reverse. So I'm going to just tell you really quickly, on our side, we're in alignment. It doesn't mean that we won't experience some of these reverse energies. So there was lies and cheating and stealing on us, not about us, not from us. We are not the origin. We are not the source of all that rickety, sneaky, tricky, trifling, treacherous, and treasonous, sideways, sneaky, and seditious. That's not us. We don't be that way. Okay. But we did deal with some of that. It might have happened right in front of us and we didn't even recognize it because it was this loophole kind of thing. Okay. So it's very much a miscarriage of justice, a mistreatment, a misalignment. Okay. And that's what's ending at this full moon. So it could take another 6 months fully for it to be, you know, um, cut out like a bad cancer, let me be precise. However, there's going to be a significant shift starting already. Whenever you see in this, welcome to the shift, to the change. Okay, and I'm hearing that song. I do not know the words. Pop, lock, and lock it. Pop, lock, and lock it. I don't know the lyrics. Something about popping and locking or whatever. I'm hearing that. I'm hearing the music. That's something you hear in the club when you're out with the girls. I can't remember the language, the lyrics. There was one little other vine that I was catching. Okay, so there's a couple. Because there is this thing here about they found a way to get involved in whatever it is that we got. They found a way to get involved in whatever it is that we have coming to us. And because of some kind of cabal or because of some type of inside power or because of some type of access or whatever, they were able to kind of exercise whatever little bitty tiny piece of baby authority that they had. You know, those are the people with their little corner of the world and they become tyrannical with a little tiny taste of power. It's that kind of thing. So there's that. And then I gotta read this reversals. It's gonna be unpleasant, unfortunate, but I gotta do it. So with the Five of Pentacles and the Devil, it does mean binding. They've been harvesting our energy, harvesting our opportunities. They've been feeding off our name. They don't have to be taking our energy. They don't have to be taking our opportunities. They could just be benefiting by vilifying us. There's enough of that here. There is Six of Pentacles in reverse. There is some type of jealousy, envy, maybe even greed. And Ace of Cups in reverse. Oh, this one's so sad. It means the repost of a false heart. It means somebody that attempted to love but didn't have the prerequisite materials to do it authentically. And when they came to the moment where they could level up or fall into disgrace, they decided to take the easy way out. They decided to become not loving, not caring, not kind. They got mean, they got cruel. This means repost of a false heart. So they're only loving when it's convenient, and there's something in terms of a lack of authenticity, sincerity, and genuineness. And this could mean some kind of, I'm hearing the word Lothario, but usually this is like somebody lacking scruples. They typically have a very unclean nature if this is in reverse. So this is somebody that could do all those things that are unspeakable. You know, lock up your sons and husbands, also watch your children kind of deal. And that's if it's a female. If it's a male, these people can justify some of the most horrific. You know, a lot of people are scared of the swords or the wands or the pentacles in reverse. Those things you can discern. With the cups, you may never see it. You may never be able to imagine the evil that they could do. I mean, it's anything from, you know, making children unsafe to completely destroying a person from the depths of their soul or hopes or wishes or dreams or aspirations. The most evil happens, in my opinion, when the cups are reversed. I'm just going to put that out there. And it's unspeakable, the things. Okay. And it is very much related to family or related to eternity. So 10 of Cups in reverse could mean violence. I definitely will watch your children. But also be careful of like the legacy of inheritance, things of those natures as well. And let's move on because this took a turn. Yeah, somebody has access and power and knowledge that they shouldn't. I'm just going to tell you that right now because they would be stealing or turning things around. And it's not so much about the jealous feeling. It's like they were never, when they had the moment, when they had the chance, they weren't able to make it work. And so they're going to take advantage because that's the thing. That always breaks my heart. Sometimes people do harm and do evil because they can, because they think whatever we are endowed with, we don't deserve. And there's a point where we become mature, but until we become mature, we're innocent and we're naive, which means they should have been loving, caring, and kind. They should have been gentle and cautious with us. Instead, they decided to be exploitative and seize upon us because of something in their own chemistry and makeup, something in their own characters and attributes. They thought we didn't deserve the thing that God gave us because we didn't know about it and we weren't using it the right way. I'm going to leave that there. Yeah, this is still a little bit dirty, but we're cleaning it up ever so slightly. Okay, so firstly, somebody here may have their moon in Sagittarius or in the ninth house. They're definitely seeking, they definitely are ambitious, they're definitely striving. Queen of Wands with the Temperance card. That's a moon in Sagittarius or in the ninth house, which means that they're a clout chaser, status seeker. They're lawfully now. That's on the negative. On the positive, they could be really refined, meaning multiple citizenships or lots of degrees or speak multiple languages. That doesn't always need to be really negative, but also this moon or would It's probably that they also have Mercury there with the moon, so they would very much be striving, seeking, and I wanna tell you I wanna tell you here, this kind of energy, if it's not well dignified, if they get access to privy information, if they get privy to hidden information, or sensitive information, they could definitely exploit because it's like they're currying favor or they're counting votes or they're definitely a climber. Now, I don't know how this moon video turned into talking about somebody else. So let me just talk generally about the energy, if that's okay. So we're going towards spiritual alignment, spiritual perfection, when we've been coming out of bringing order over chaos, which means the respectability politics, virtue signaling, compassion baiting, concern trolling, individuality shaming. We were learning to do the right thing, go by the book, follow policy, procedure, and protocol to not get canceled or ostracized or vilified or made wrong or made bad, shunned, made piranha. But actually, we needed to learn how to stand in our own divinity, Nine of Pentacles. That's the Midas touch. We needed to learn how to use our gift to navigate through the world, essentially, is what that is. That's another determination of Midas touch. It's not always about everything you touch turns to gold. You will be able to make gold if you are in the flow of how life should be for you. And that was decided before you came here, meaning things are expansive versus things are stagnated. Seven of Cups could be stagnant. Four or Seven of Cups could be stagnant. With the Four of Cups, that's more of a personal situation. With the Seven of Cups, it's more of a worldly situation. So it could be that living in the matrix, higher fat with the Seven of Cups. It could be um, because the way that things we were happy with the old. I feel like it's on the way out because this line here is for the past. So it's almost as if like yeah, we got what we needed out of the the matrix. We got what we needed out of the status quo. We got what we needed out of the mother, daddy, teacher, preacher, history books, science books, religious books, the colonizer, controller. Did they most? Did they best? They did they everything. But now that's kind of over. We got to kind of go to the next show. We got to kind of move to the next party, maybe the after party, and that's not it. The performer at the concert is not at the after party. They went somewhere else. Maybe they got back on the plane and went home to hell. By the way, to the infernal kingdom. So one thing is that yeah, we were innocent, naive, but that's also part of what they needed. Part of what they needed was for us to be gullible or for us to be distracted, for us to feel overwhelmed. And who is this they? The powers that be. Got PTB, soon becoming the PTW, powers that be becoming the powers that were. So whatever that is, whatever that looks like, whether it's authority, maybe it's work, maybe it's ownership, maybe it's the government. I don't know. It's not my space to say. It's not my place to say. That's for you, boo. I hope you figure that one out. Okay, but we are at an impasse here with the death and the hangman, but that's coming undone. Now, we can also be dealing with the Scorpio energy. It's probably some type of Scorpio cycle. So we're working now up to the Scorpion. Yeah, hold on. Scorpio. Yeah, okay, so they're wanting some kind of ignorance still. They're leveraging or hoping. And who is this that I don't know or care, baby? I don't. Okay, I feel like it's the government because I'm hearing sirens, but I'm going to leave that there. It's basically whatever entities, energies, ideologies, institutions, and constitutions that police people to their stuck on stupid energy, to the lower vibrational, trapped in the matrix, disempowered little place in space. That's the this they that we're talking about. Okay, so that's that. Let's move on. Because we're going towards this hangman energy, which actually talks about us letting go, letting God. It's like a surrender, a sacrifice, because there's a perspective that we need that we're not getting. There's some kind of hidden here. Now, the first thing that's hidden is the true nature of our soul. Give me just a second. She's playing games here. Okay. There's something here that's hidden, and it's the hidden nature of our soul. We're divine. They need us. We don't need them. They get their needs met because we participate in a game that we don't even truly fully understand. And who is this they? I'm going to just repeat this several times. It can be our enemy, our entity, our ideology. It can be that. Okay. It can also be some kind of person, place, or thing. It can be that. But really, it's a collective mechanism. Every one of us were born into a certain frequency, energy, vibration, which meant that we were at the disproportionate, disadvantageous position in a game that we didn't even know that we were playing. There's a secret about our life. And what they want is for us to stay stuck on stupid. Who is this they? It could be our parents, it could be our bosses, it could be our landlords. It's the powers that be, the elite. We don't need to talk more about that. I don't need to say specifically what it is, because we all are under the same energy, but it manifests differently for each one of us. Some of us have passing privilege. So it's the institutions that we're born into that become our prison warden. Some of us have economic privilege. So it's the keeping up with the Joneses. Some of us are openly vilified. So for us, it's our divinity, it's our spirituality. Some of us are weird and abnormal with that Aquarian alien energy. We're too mysterious. We're probably a walking unicorn. So it's our star seed nature that's being vilified. We all are under the same energy. Time to change, time to move into the new paradigm, time to move into the age of Aquarius and leave behind the old of before. And we're going to be vilified in different ways, but basically for the same reason, because we're ushering in a new vibrational reality. We're here to be the apocalyptic midwife, to steward and bring the death of the old way, to birth our own death, if you would. And a death doesn't mean divide from the body, murder, death, kill, corpus, dead body on the ground, go into the next life. Death means to bring an irrevocable ending and transition. So the way that this is manifesting is that we're at an impasse. It's kind of like a standstill of some kind, because our future is changing. Basically, we're beginning to understand that there is discord and discontent around us having joy and access, around us receiving blessings and benefit. We're now going to begin to see that there are energies, entities, ideologies, mainly people, some of them close to us, that don't like when things are going well for us. Or said differently, that when we begin to get on the road and move towards whatever is calling to us, they got something to say. And listen, let me say it this way. They're either helping us or they're hurting us. They're either helping us or they're hindering us. It's not about whether they like it or not. You don't need to like what I got going on. You don't need to understand what I got going on. You don't need to agree with what I got going on. All you need to do is respect it. And if you can't put some respect on my name, listen, homie, if you don't respect my boundaries, it's because you don't respect me. If you don't like my standards, it's because you don't meet them. And that's what we're getting. That's what this is. Okay? We might not like it, we might not agree with it, but the universe doesn't care. The universe doesn't care if we're comfortable. The universe cares if we are growing, if we are evolving. And that's what this is. I read the whole thing down, but I kind of just explained the energy, because as we go towards this being with God, let me say, what we get is transitions. We get the universe navigating and negotiating on our behalf, but the only thing that we need to do is be in alignment with some type of energy. Remember, I was talking about spell work? It's from the universe. The universe is going all out. The universe is doing the most. But the only way we can tap into this energy is by being in alignment with our true, authentic, genuine path. And sometimes it's going to be painful because we've been so entrenched, enmeshed in this old. We kind of trapped ourselves in this old life that we had because there was one time when we needed security, material security, and material security is always a thing. It's always a thing. It's always a thing. It's always a thing. However, let me tell you this. Now we need respect. Now we need emotional security. Now we need to go to places and spaces where we are celebrated and not just tolerated. That's also as relevant as the material security. Those of us who are really, really, really deeply, direly worried about material security, we always got either health cost or children to worry about. That's about where it's at. That's about where it's at. All this other stuff, we're gonna just take that leap of faith. We got to, because it's getting too painful. The pain to change is becoming much, much, much less than the pain to stay the same. And in dealing with this reality, and dealing with this revelation, and dealing with this shift and change, again, yes, we will be changing our people, places, and things. Death and the Lover's card. Our environment, surrounding locations, our people, places, and things will be shifting. Because we're manifesting some type of open road. Two of Wands. That means we have at a crossroads, ready to make a choice, and also we have dominion, autonomy, franchise, and control. We can weigh up some kind of options. And we're hoping to navigate, negotiate, remain present, and participate in some kind of way, shape, form, or another. Two of Pentacles. A pair of twos means that discerning of. Yeah, this is really, truly, genuinely about honoring the fact that something in our life we're fed up about. Because there's all these reunions, but these reunions are about grace. We need to bring back some kind of inner child or joy or something like that. We have the Six of Cups in both decks here. So this thing that we're not entirely aware of is that there was some kind of triangulation, but there's terms and conditions. Something was hemming us up, Three of Swords. There was something nebulous that was making it so we couldn't kind of proceed, but it was karma. It was karma. And karma on earth is not always about you did something bad, you're bad. It's really just a lesson that needs to be learned. And it can very much be related to being bad, being wrong, being dirty. But it also just means that sometimes things are a lesson. And with the Three of Swords, until that lesson gets learned or at least acknowledged and incorporated into the plan, there's not going to be a lot of growth, if any at all. But with the Two of Pentacles, we're negotiating, navigating, we're attending to it. With the Two of Pentacles, we're attending to this karma here. So something is happening. And then with the Death card, that eradicates karma, but it also, it's like sweeping karma away. It doesn't mean that the karma gets disappeared. It means that we find a way to deal with it. We find a way to make it move to its highest vibrational outcome. And sometimes that it calls something due, or sometimes it transforms it, or it expediates it, or it transmutes it. Sometimes we get the green light to have to deal with it in the next lifetime, or later on in this lifetime, there's something here where we figured out the little to like have things move along, come along. And the agreement here is to get into bigger, brighter, better places and things. We can't hang out with the scrubs, the rata cucarachas, the garbage, the swamp people. We can't. It doesn't mean that we're better than them or anything like that. It just means we're more deserving. Because we are feeling caught up in some kind of way, and it's really not our place, it's not our problem. We didn't do the things that made things so gross or so stuck or so stagnant, but we were a participant. Unwitting, but we still did participate. Okay, so this moving on, moving forward. Thank gosh, because that was something. Whew, okay, so there's a breaking up, breaking free here, because now we're going to grab the bull by the horns. There's some kind of mastery that comes with deciding that we're no longer going to participate in something. We have a pair of six here, which means chosen, gifts, blessings, favor, support. Yeah, whoa there. Yeah, we're really having a transformation here. So we're working up towards the Scorpio full moon. I think there was going to be some kind of karmic revelation with this Libra full moon. The thing we were not facing, we're going to have to face it. And now energy is going to start moving, and we're going to be given this little bitty tiny. So between the Libra and Scorpio full moon, we're going to be given time to prepare ourselves, because something in Scorpio is going to happen. It's going to be irrevocable, and it's going to be kind of strict, because we were on high ground, but we're being asked if we want to stay on high ground, and we're being given or told or informed of the things we need to do to not only secure said high ground, but to stay on said high ground. Okay. So as we move towards this revelation, remember I said earlier, my dear, apocalyptic midwife? Yeah. So we know what's on the other side of the portal, the thing that we're trying to birth. But now we need to kind of wrap up whatever we're doing right now. We need to prepare for our own demise. And I'm not talking about our final days, our end of life planning. I'm talking about we're going to burn something down to the ground. We're going to blow up our life in a way. And it might be socially, it might be economically, it might be residentially, it might be professionally. We're going to pull the ripcord or push the button, hit the button, or ring the alarm or sound the bell or something. It might just be coming out of whatever closet, coming out of the entrepreneur closet or the witch closet or the gay closet. I don't know. Something that's going to be revealed. And it is going to shake things up in a way, but we're already on solid ground and we're at a high position. There's something elite about where we're going, and it's going to really make waves, tower, il torre, because there will be clasping and grasping. I don't know what that means, what that looks like. I'm discerning like some of our spiritual inheritance are going to be allocated. But again, we were feeling hemmed up. We got interrupted for a second. Pardon the interruption. The devil be doing the most right now. and let the enemy do that thing, but I'm gonna stab them in the eye with the selenite wand. I'm kidding. I'm so kidding. That was amusing. That was amusing. Oh, that gave me such cackles. Okay. Um, when you see the strength card and the tower card, it's like Sekhmet Patah. So it's like you can wage all the war that you want. Okay, what's a mob? What's a guy to a mob? What's a mob to a king? What's a king to a god? What's a god to a non-believer? It's like, okay, little honey, you may be a big bad witch, but what are you gonna do against the goddess of witchcraft? Okay, Homer, you may be a big little, you know, vampire, but what are you gonna do to an original vampire? Or you may be the big bad wolf, but what are you gonna do to the alpha? You know, it's like we've grabbed something by the root, by the source, or maybe we're not grabbing, maybe we're just plugged into, tuned into. Yeah, that is it, because something's gonna happen where all of a sudden we're set up, but it won't be completely unfamiliar overnight. It's like those overnight successes that take 10 years in the making. We were getting ready in some kind of way. We were handling up, leveling up in some kind of way, and then hocus pocus abracadabra. It's not the brujeria kind. It's like the fairy godmother sprinkles some little dust, and then bam, something from the ethers erects out into the material, and it's been there all along, and we've been preparing for it all along. But finally, it's actualized. Finally, it's realized. And we've been slowly but surely in the background being told, being informed, being prepared for what this is. It's some type of supreme authority, some kind of ranking from the divine is involved in it. And I honestly feel like we are getting our spiritual inheritance, or at least it's being allocated to us in some kind of way, shape, form, or another. And there it is, the Ten of Pentacles. So, yeah, there were beings that were trying to get us to go in the wrong direction. Um, to second guess this journey that we were going to be on, to maybe like misalign ourselves in some kind of way, shape, form, or another, trying to get us to dishonor, dilute, diminish, distort, disown, deject, destroy, like I said, denigrate this path, this calling. I don't know what I'm getting, my dear, but I'm getting something significant. Yeah, okay, well, here's 2 9. That always tells me everything, because that means the cycle is completing, but also means that we need to spend some time alone. Yeah, what's a man to a mob? What's a mob to a king? What's a king to a god? What's a god to a non-believer? I don't believe in anything. I know the person who came up with that is problematic right now. Nine of Swords, Nove disparde, Nove de pique. Okay, so this actually means that there's a backfire. And that also we rise up, stand up, level up, boss up, handle up. We're not little pichicus, little pendejas. We're not little maricon mariposas. We're, you know, jefe, el jefe. We're boss. We're alpha. We're not beta. Okay, pardon my language, my dear darling. We are not a basic beta bitch. I'm just gonna say that and move on. We're gonna level up, boss up, handle up, G up. We're not some, you know, la merda. We don't just lay down in the gutter and get rowed over. I don't know how to say, and English is horrible. Um, you know, we're not fugazi. We're not fake. We're not posers. We're not phony. We're not fictitious. We're not. I don't have nice, kind language. I'm out. I'm completely out. We're not the mark that they thought we were. We're not weak character, weak willed like they thought we were. And a lot of us are loving, and so we do get caught up in that whole little thing. But the moment we feel disrespected, the moment we know that something is bad in terms of evil or sinister or wicked, or we've been used or targeted or held as tribute for something diabolical, we will rise up. Yeah, okay, I'll tell you, sometimes we get weak in the knees for some little man or whatever. I'm not saying like we're indomitable, formidable, like we're formidable, but I'm saying like we're not pieces of shit in in the flesh, or in the spirit. We are not lowly. We're not a peasant in the flesh or in our soul. We are lion, we are king, we are alpha, we are mighty, we are royal, we are regal, we are legend. And do you understand? That's all I can say. I don't have the English because there's something here that was banking on us being weak, and they aim for surprise. And the funny thing is, the surprise got revealed before the reason for the surprise got revealed, because they're guilty. Whoever this day is, the powers that be, whatever, what have you, the old that's on the way out, the old. Okay, that's new that we're calling in, not this old that we're pushing up, but the new that we're calling in over here is about spiritual inheritance, creative new beginning, spiritual strength, moving on, moving forward, passing all our initiatory rights, triumph, handling war, meaning they're lobbing and lobbing and lobbing and lobbing, attacks and attacks and attacks and attacks, and we just pulling through, coming through, rolling over, mulling over. We just handling it, handling up, handling up, handling up. So whatever this is, they're guilty of something because the alligator spirit came. Sobek. So we had Ptah, we had Sobek. Something is not going to work for them. They're guilty of something. And that's actually what I'm discerning in the past. It's been getting progressively and progressively and progressively worse. They're fighting some inevitable ending, and oops, not our fault, not our problem. Oh yeah, no, oh yeah, Just a second. This is one of those times when I'm glad I am not the chief magistrate of the divine, because I don't know how to say this. Um, I'd be happy to hand out some strict and harsh punishments. I'm glad I'm only sitting on the seat of my little tiny little sect over here with all the other priests and priestesses, and I don't have to rule over, lord over, preside over global affairs, because ooh, if the judge on this case has got to be fierce as, just like iron souled, dynamite spirited. Oh, because the hand is coming out. I can see it reaching out into the heavens, out from the heavens, and just like a cosmic backhand. And it's because they did something really dirty and they knew better. I'm hearing, you were told, you were told. It's like I'm scared. Um, they were told, whatever this is, energy here, they were told. They were warned, they were told. And they still did the most because they stuck their whole behind out to the Lord, to Papa Bandiu, saying, kiss my derriere to God. They were like, to God. What? Huh? They said, I, I, I can't even, I can't. Well, we know who does that, the devil. That's why he's all the way down there. That's why he gets to hang out with Judas every day, because he's a betrayer, an oath breaker. I'm shook. I mean, we read the story from the beginning, oath breaking, corruption, vow breaking. But I think I just got that because, oh my gosh, I'm shook. I'm shook. When it finally made sense to me, no, thank you. Oh my gosh. I might be a little king, but I'm not the king of kings. And thank gosh, blessed be, right? Thank the Lord, bless the goddess. Because um what? There are some evils in the universe I do not need to understand. Let me put it that way and move on. But we're done with this reading, aren't we? Yeah, because Libra came out and then we got the moon. Okay, well, let's go one more step. Let's go one more step. But this is saying that, yes, okay, we will eventually know what happened. We will have the intellect, reasoning, and communication, the knowledge, and the language for what happened. But that's when everything is said and done. That's when been a completion. Okay. And it might be whenever Mercury is conjunct Saturn again, which could be the beginning of next year. So it's going to be about 6 months, I'll be honest. But what happened was that we were stronger than the other side, but we had to wait them out. We had to let them tire themselves out and get weak enough to really take out their own trash. That this is trash that's going to take itself out. And part of the lesson and part of the blessing was not needing to do anything. And yes, honey, yes, as I talked about in the beginning, we had to sit into discomfort. We had to deal with some things that were harsh. We had to be vilified and made wrong and made bad. We had to have our feelings hurt, have our hearts broken. We had to have our trust abused. Okay, but 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 we got to see the grace of the divine play out in our lives. And the only thing we had to do was align into the sacred calling and the divine mission. All we had to do was learn what our gifts were from the Lord and use them in the world to make the world a bigger, brighter, better place. We didn't have to sit there and fight demons. We didn't have to battle enemies. We didn't have to do all that. Yeah, of course, sometimes, people move how they move, and we do need to move out of the way because it is our job to flee from those who wish us harm. But, if the enemy is hungry, feed him. If the enemy is thirsty, give him something to drink. If the enemy needs shelter, I'll give a couple $100 for a hotel room and send you on your way. But you hear what I'm saying? By doing so, you reap burning coals upon their head. Vengeance is the Lord's. Okay? So we did that in some kind of way, shape, form, or another. We did that. We did that thing. We did that thing. We did that thing. Okay, and again, remember, there is some type of moon in Sagittarius here, which means these were striving. These were status hungry people. Because when it all comes down, when the whole thing is said and done, when everything comes out, we'll see. But there'll be a new enshrinement. There'll be a new grace and ennoblement. The world will be different by the time we understand what really happened. The world will be different, and we were just going to be. It'll seem to everybody like we were lucky, but what we really were chosen in favor. What we really were obedient to the divine. What we really were in alignment with our spirit, karma, life path, destiny. What we really were answering the sacred calling on our life and walking on our divine mission. That's only the only difference that there really, truly, genuinely is. Sure, they're going to believe something else. Sure, they're going to want and try to say something else, but that's what's up. So we have a double four, which means we're going to have some type of moving in or commitment, actually. So we just need to put ourselves into our work. That's really the only thing to do here, because this other side is suffering quite greatly, quite heavily, and we probably need to let them in some kind of way, shape, form, or another. And that's hard when you know somebody's in need and not to reach out. That's a hard thing to do when our little precious hearts. But the thing is that that's their karma. That's really how they wake up and get saved, is by having to call out for the divine. And sometimes everything else needs to fall away. we're going to be sitting in the knowledge of the cycle pretty soon. And it's a great, grand, exalted, gracious influence over an entire cycle. It might be an incarnational cycle, but it's going to come out of self-governance, self-mastery. Okay. So it's been an honor and a pleasure to serve. Thank you for allowing me the privilege to do so. If anything resonated deeply with you, comment, share, subscribe, leave a review for concession, send a donation. Again, my name was Serene Priestess Abossi. I was your oracle today. I was sent to deliberate the findings for the full moon in Libra. Again, I welcome you to the Lunar Lounge, brought to you by Vertex of Abundance. If anything resonates deeply with you, go ahead and smash that like button. Just a quick prayer for all those still lost out there to illusion, delusion, confusion, trapped in the seas of time, lost somewhere in the matrix, yet to heal, yet to awaken, yet to return to the resplendent grace of divine unconditional love and universal oneness. We love you. We're sorry. Please forgive us. Thank you. We pray that your steps are ordered, your path is illuminated, and that you find salvation and redemption in this lifetime. May we all be happy. May we all be whole. May we all be healthy. May we all be well. May we all be at peace. May we all receive everything we ever wanted, starting with what we deserve. Until we meet again, until we read again. Namaste, Dhanava, and Ashe. Sayonara, that's goodbye, and Go ahead and smash that like button. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.